Hi everyone, Michael Howard here. I hope you're all well. I'm just going to do this little video. Throughout the last few weeks, we've been all bunkering down and trying to get through the COVID-19 pandemic that the whole world is currently dealing with. And for us here in South Australia, we are doing really, really well. So well done to everyone. I know we're all at home. Some people like to say we're all stuck at home, and we're probably at that point. We're itching to get out and go and do something and have some face-to-face interaction. But realistically, we're not stuck at home. We're actually safe at home. We really should be proud of ourselves. Especially here in South Australia, we're doing really, really well. So I think we're up to, in fact, they might even be doing another announcement. I hope we've gotten to 13 days in a row without any new cases. So that's fantastic. The one thing that I've been noticing, and there's people who've been calling me for help with their mortgages and asking questions, etc., and needing the holiday repayments, etc. And that's that's perfectly fine if that's that's how you need to get through, because not everyone has had issues with with their work. They might have had hours cut or whatever, or a contract reduced, or there's lots and lots of different scenarios. So you've got to do what's right for you, and the options are there. So that the lenders have all basically put out as part of their normal hardship repayment policy, that this is they're calling them holiday repayment, sort of repayment holidays. Apologies, and where it means you can pause your mortgage for between 3 and 6 months, and it will be reviewed after those periods of time. It's not going to affect your credit file, so it's something that you can actually set up, quite comfortably, and help get you through this period. A little bit of a caveat on that: if you didn't know, if you are pausing your repayments and you maybe missed it in the information, or they didn't tell you for whatever reason, you still do have to pay that interest back. So the interest that you would have paid during that period is going to need to be paid back, basically. So it'll just get capitalised back onto the loan. It'll probably mean that after your repayment holiday period ends, your actual minimum repayment will be slightly recalculated, rejigged, to make sure that you do still pay it off in the allotted time frame that you've got on your mortgage. 30-year term, you need to make sure that the balance is still going to be calculated out to pay it off in that 30-year term. So just be aware of that. That's not to say that if you can pay something onto your mortgage, you're more than welcome to do that. Every lender that I've spoken to has basically said that you can pay as much or as little onto that through that period without penalty as well. There's been a couple of people who called me up and said, could they switch their product from principal and interest to interest only for a period? So far, the commentary has been no. But what they've suggested is you go on that holiday repayment, but just calculate out and pay the interest. There's there's no penalty for doing that. So essentially, you can keep up the interest payments, and then so that interest is not going to then be capitalised at the end of the period. Essentially, you can do what you feel you are comfortable doing in that period, in the holiday repayment period. So that's that product. The other thing that I've actually noticed is that sometimes people don't need to change or stop their holiday repayments, so their home loan repayments, but they might just need some budget help. So I'm actually just doing this little video to actually highlight that sometimes setting yourself a very real budget, something to work towards, is actually going to be just as good, if not even more powerful and empowering, I think, is actually setting up a budget. So yeah, that's it's a lot of people are sort of, it's the B word is, it's got a bit of a bad, maybe it's got a bad name, I don't know. People don't like to set up budgets and feel like they're constrained, their money's constrained and tucked away and they can't touch it and whatever else. I actually see the opposite. I feel like it's, as I said, it's an empowering scenario. You know what you've got, you know what money's coming in, and then once you've sat down and you work it out, you've got a spreadsheet in front of you, you know exactly what's going where, what needs to be paid and when. What you've got left over is play money, your discretionary spend. So I think that's a really, really powerful tool that I think everyone should have, to be quite honest, because there's very few people that are actually financially savvy. I know some of you probably don't want to hear that. You probably don't want to admit it to yourselves, but being financially savvy is a real benefit, because it's very easy to spend our money and we live in a very materialistic world. Australians have some of the highest debt levels, personal debt levels in the world, and it's we definitely need to take check of that. So I'd like to highlight to you that I know some people, and they're some business colleagues, and I like to call them friends as well. They're a lovely couple, Andrew and Alyssa Mates from Adelaide Budgeting. This is their business. This is what they do. They are here in Adelaide, and they would love to see you. They would love to sit down with you, work out your budget, and go through with you. They stay in touch with you. They keep you accountable. They have control of nothing. They give it all over to you. You're the one that's being empowered with the budget, but they help you set it up and realize the position that you're in. It could be that you just want to set up a savings goal. You could be working towards buying your first home. You could be working towards buying your first investment property. It could be that you just literally want to save a deposit. You want to buy a car. Work towards buying a car. You might have a house, so you want to buy a nice car. Anything. Saving for a holiday. You've got some debt. Maybe we can work together to tidy that up. Because there's different scenarios we can do there. Get you into a position where we fix a repayment history. You might have some poor repayment history, because that very quickly can actually affect your credit file. So they work on all of these scenarios, and they work in with me as well. We can have a look at your situation and get you borrower ready for whatever you want to work towards. That might be 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, whatever. They'll work with you, keep you accountable, and before you know it, you'll be quite surprised the position that you're in. I do have a couple of clients that are using Adelaide Budgeting, and they are doing really, really well. One of them, as an example, had many debts. I think we looked at consolidating 7 different personal debts. So car loan, credit cards, those Go Mastercards, lots of different things. So 7 of them. So that was 7 repayments that she had to look after every month. We consolidated that down into one personal loan, and just the repayments alone dropped by, I think it was in the vicinity of $500 a month, just purely by doing that one thing. But not only that, she went from 7 repayments per month down to 1. I've got plenty of options in that space. So if you've got several little debts that you want to have a look at, and that you're just getting a little bit overwhelmed, you might have missed a couple of repayments, etc. That's a perfect scenario. But we can also work in with Adelaide Budgeting and Andrew and Alyssa, and we can get you set up and get you borrower ready. So don't be afraid of the B word. I think you should all, and through this period, I've been noticing that a lot of people would just really benefit from having a budget and knowing how much money they've got and where it's all going, because not many people know. And I'm quite surprised when I sit down and do my living expense assessment for those wanting a home loan, whether it's a first home or an investment property or whatever. Even in a refinance scenario, it happens. Lenders are checking, and they're checking, almost forensically. And so, I'm finding that people they're like flabbergasted at how much money they're actually spending and where it's going. So let's think budget. I think it's a great idea. It's something I probably should have been pushing for a lot long ago. I'm glad that I've met Andrew and Alyssa, and they are ready for your call. So, give me a buzz, and I'm happy to do an introduction to them for you. Have a think about it. It's not as bad as you think, but I think it'll be very, very beneficial, even if you don't want to do anything specific. It's just something to tidy up and empower you with your own money. So think about it. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you all soon. Thank you.